Procrastination. Today on the Daily Ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Ish Show, a show not just for rental housing providers, but anybody looking to get a little bit more white space, a little bit more control over your calendar. Welcome, everybody. It is good to see you all, and it's good to be back. It has been, I know I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I know it's been actually a couple weeks since I've been on, but it has not been because I have been procrastinating, which is today's topic, but it has actually been because I've been focusing really more on the things that actually, that I really need to be focusing on. And as much as I love doing the Daily Ish Show, there were other things that were taking priority. And no offense, guys, I had to get real clear and really focused on my vision in terms of what it was I was really trying to get accomplished. So anyway, we're going to talk about procrastination today, and what I'm doing this on is on the heels of a really, really fun event that I just got done doing. That was down in Nashville. Awesome, awesome town. I love the folks down there. They are just amazing, amazing people. To the Nashville Real Estate Investors Association that had me down there, also known as REN. Great folks. Really enjoyed your hospitality. Really enjoyed your time in the last couple over the weekend that we got to do the 2-day masterclass down there. It was so much fun. They're just really great. Yes, I apologize if you were in that class. I didn't give very many breaks. I apologize. I know. I had a lot I wanted to convey, so I apologize for that. But the 2-day masterclass, one of the things that we talked about is this very thing about procrastination, and it's in relation to self-sabotaging behaviors that we engage in. A lot of people that come to me often say, well, hey, I really want to invest in real estate, but they're not investing in the most important piece of real estate that they could ever invest in. And that's this 6 inches of real estate right up in here. And when they're not investing in that real estate, when they're not recognizing the self-sabotaging behaviors that they're engaging in, when they're not recognizing the self-defeating behaviors that they're engaging in, the self-punishing behaviors they often engage in, that the best investments, you're going to find a way to screw them up because of the self-sabotaging behaviors. And one of the worst self-sabotaging behaviors is procrastination, delaying, putting things off, just for the sake of, a lot of times people seeking perfection is also related to hey, is the first stage of horseshit. Yes. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Thank you for your wisdom. I appreciate that. Where was I? Yeah, basically putting all of these things, these self-sabotaging behaviors in place in front of your vision, in front of actually what it is you're wanting to accomplish. Now, if you've ever seen me speak at a local real estate investors association or a local landlord association, or maybe you've just had a conversation with me, a lot of times people will come up and they'll say, hey, coach, really want to get into rental properties. And they say, oh, okay. What are you trying to accomplish? And they'll say, well, I really want to get 100 rental properties. Okay. And to which I say 100. Okay. So 99 wouldn't do it? No, guess 99 would be okay. Okay. Well, 99. What about 93? 93, I think, is a prime number. Would that be okay? Right. And what they don't recognize is that they're not really being clear about what it is that they personally want. What they're doing is they're confusing the number of rental units with the life output they think that that's going to buy them. So as a result, what they've done is they put a business vision in place before they put a personal vision. And because they've done that, because they've defined a business vision before they defined a personal vision, they end up creating a life that exists to serve the business, right? That's instead of the business existing to serve their life. So that's all part of the self-sabotaging thing that goes on. It's like, well, I'll figure my personal vision out once I get, $50,000 a month coming in cash flow, if that ever happens. Well, I can tell you, I sit in a mastermind with people who do really, really well, and some of them bring in like 6 figures a month. and they still haven't figured that out. And they're still chasing that rabbit. So this really is about, number one, getting clear in terms of what it is you're trying to accomplish, in terms of a personal vision, in terms of what you actually want. And secondly, recognizing the self-sabotaging, self-defeating, self-punishing behaviors that we engage in, including me. Right now, here's a partial list of just some of the, and I have to read these because there's so many of them, but some of the self-sabotaging behaviors that I would engage in: procrastinating, seeking perfection. Oh man, I was let me just stop right there. Procrastinating is kind of that's always been a problem for me. But seeking perfection, I can tell you, I'm going to stop right there, because I can tell you that it got so bad of me seeking perfection back when I was trying to publish my first book, because I was so worried and so obsessed that there was going to be a spelling mistake in this book. And there's 65,000 words in the first edition of The Time Wealthy Investor. Of course I was going to miss it, because I was self-editing, and then I would change things, and then I would have words that didn't make sense, and it was just a disaster, right? But because I was seeking perfection, that book never would have been published. And of course, the first edition, there were spelling errors, there were formatting errors, there were, it wasn't the best. But the thing was, it's still a good book. It didn't make it a bad book. It just, because I was seeking perfection, I ended up delaying the launch and publishing of that book by months, when I could have just gotten the thing out. And look at it this way. I feel very confident it's a good book, not because I'm saying it, but because other people have said that many, many times, and have given me really good feedback on it. And it's always been very positive in terms of, this is exactly what I would want to know if I was operating my own rental business. But they gave me really, really solid feedback. And yeah, they might have noticed a spelling error here or there, but the point is that someone else someone else's life was sucking because I was playing small. And I was so worried about seeking perfection, right? How another one is doing the unnecessary. Well, let me go ahead and clean the bathroom before I get the day started, because once I clean the bathroom, then I can really start. Like, is that really that necessary? Now, yeah, granted, having a nice clean workspace and all that stuff, it opens up bandwidth and all that stuff. But is it really that necessary? Is it really that necessary that you organize all your phone contacts before you actually start getting on sales calls? Are you doing the unnecessary? Another couple, hiding in activity. So what you're hiding inside activity, just being really busy, just super productive, got a bunch of papers in your hand and a cell phone. You might carry around two cell phones. Super busy. Well, yeah, you might be busy, but are you productive? Are you effective? Now, it's that relationship between effectiveness versus efficiency. Efficiency is the default mode of nature, where water is going to run, the most efficiently way from the top of a mountain to the bottom of a mountain. It's going to be most efficient based on gravity. It's not going to be the most effective, though. Well, who determines effectiveness? The end user. You do. So if that water would be best to channel and spin a turbine for electricity, then then the water's being effective. If it maybe makes sense to be most effective to irrigate crops down at the bottom, then maybe it makes sense to channel it down and spread it out at the bottom, right? But the point is that you ultimately decide productivity. You ultimately decide effectiveness. So efficiency is great, but you may be really efficient at taking out the garbage, but you're not effective at all in terms of moving towards your vision, towards actually what it is you're doing this all for. So yeah, procrastination. And that was a really, really bad one in terms of, and what I can tell you in terms of that, a lot of times procrastination really wasn't about lack of motivation, but it was more about lack of being clear in terms of what it was that I was trying to do. A lot of people reach out to me and they know that I'm an author, and they say, yeah, I really want to write a book someday. And I would ask them, I'd say, oh, well, when are you working on it? Oh, well, I'm not working on it. I just want to write a book someday. Okay, well, you realize, like, that's never going to happen unless you actually sit down and carve out a time. How about Saturday at 3 o'clock at the coffee shop for an hour? I'm going to write on my book, right? Because it's not really about lack of motivation. You might be motivated to do it, but it's really about lack of clarity. Or really a lack of specificity in terms of when you're actually going to do that thing. It was a really good point in Atomic Habits by James Clear, that he talked about it. What did he call it? An implementation intention. I just like to call it an implementation statement, like, because triggers are often connected to time and location, right? So because triggers are connected by time and location, you want to specify the time and specify the location in terms of when you're going to do this, whatever habit it is, right? So if it's specified by time and location, think about that. All habits are triggered by time and location, time and or location, right? So if you have that habit of where you're going to go to the coffee shop at 3 o'clock on Saturday to work on your book for an hour, okay, now you're controlling your environment, where you're controlling the time, you're controlling the location, and now you can get this thing done. And it may only take, maybe a dozen Sundays to actually get some real traction on working on a book, right? So think about that in terms of procrastination. That often is not necessarily about lack of motivation, but more about lack of clarity. So that's really it. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, and yes, in case I know many of you have been reaching out. Yes, we find out the gender of the baby. Hopefully, I know what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to it being healthy. That's really truly it. I don't have a dog in this fight. I know that there are others thinking it's a girl. I don't know. There's only one person who knows, and Jen's mom is a keeper of the gender right now, so we will find out. But that's really what I'm saying right now. So I'm tend to think it's a girl. I don't know. I'm going to say that publicly. In my gut, I'm thinking it's a girl, but I don't know. I'm happy either way. The way, whatever, however God blesses us, we're just really, really excited. So we will be posting that. We'll be broadcasting that on Facebook. So for anybody who cares, we'll be doing that on Sunday. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. Please be sure to place a value in your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you next time.